the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife was Naomi, and the names of the 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Euphrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Then they married Moabite women. One was Orpah, the other was Ruth. And after they had lived there for about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her sons and her husband. So she has lost everything at this point. Now, when Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant you, each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who would become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they are grown up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." See, she's lost everything at this point. Like, she's going back empty-handed. The husband dead, 2 sons are dead. And so genuinely, at this point, her life is bitter. As they wept aloud, then at this point they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. And Naomi said, "Your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Please go back with her." But Naomi said, "Do not urge me to leave you." Another translation says, "Entreat me not to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. And the 2 women went until they came to Bethlehem. And when they arrived Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" And she continues to say, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, because the Lord has made my life very bitter." And as you read the book of Judges 21, because the book of Judges is just before the book of Ruth, at the very end, chapter 21, which is the last chapter, verse 25, it says, "In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes." Everybody was just following their own path. You just were judged or ruled by your own conscience. And so even for them to decide, and for Elimelech to decide to take his family from Bethlehem to go to Moab, was just what you felt to do, you do. There was nobody to give instructions. And so this explains how they found themselves in the land of Moab, and Naomi lost everything. But anyway, that is not my area of concern this morning. My area of concern is the place where Ruth is speaking to Naomi, and she's saying to this woman, a woman that she has just met when she's an adult, a woman that she has just encountered or had a conversation with after she has become an adult. And this is because of the child of Naomi who brought them together, because Ruth was married to Naomi's son. And so you might actually think that, if Ruth is told by Naomi to go back to her people, I mean, those are the people she knows. That is where she's grown up in, and those are the people she's comfortable around. And so if such a tragedy has struck her, the best place for her to go find refuge and comfort is not in a strange or a foreign land, but is actually in her own and in the land of her people. But she doesn't do that. She actually decides to take a step of faith, take a leap of faith, and she clings to this woman because there's something about Naomi. There's something, even if Naomi is a bitter woman, even if she feels like God has dealt so badly with her and so bitterly with her, Ruth can still see something. She can still see aspects of God in this woman. And she desires so much to go to Bethlehem because that is the city of God. I mean, Israel is a nation of God. And maybe she's had stories, maybe like the rest of the people that would hear what God had done and how God used to fight for the people of Israel. Maybe these rumors had also gotten to Ruth. And so she's curious to be in a land where God is God. She's curious to be in a place where the presence of God dwells. She's curious to be among the people who have been separated by God, by his presence. And so she says to this woman, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to go back. Everyone else can go back. I'm not going to follow Orpah. She could be my age mate. She could be the one that I relate the best with because of our age gap, which is relatable. But I'm still not going back. I'll stay with you. And this is the kind of desire. This is the kind of urge. This is the kind of hunger and thirst we need to have when we are desiring God. That's all I need, God. It's just you that I need. The same kind of desire that was upon Jacob when he was fighting with that man that appeared. He was fighting to prevail. He said, I'm not going to let go of you. I'm going to hold on to you. And the night was ending. The day was breaking. And this angel of the Lord is saying, no, 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 you've got to let me go. And Jacob says, I can't. I'm going to hold on to you until he prevailed. This is the kind of urge, this is the kind of yearning that we need to have for God. He said, don't, no matter what you say, stop telling me to go back. I'm not going to return. So you better get used to this. But what she did not know, even the husband that she never spoke out loud to Naomi and told Naomi, I'm desiring to get married. I desire to get married again. I know my husband left me while we didn't have enough time together. We were not even able to give you grandchildren. She did not give this request to Naomi, but because of her insistence, because of how she persisted and followed Naomi, eventually, in the same land of bread, the Bethlehem, the land of bread, she found a husband. And Ruth is actually one of the people that is mentioned in the lineage of Christ. She's one of the women whose child, the child she got together with Boaz, was one of the children that is also mentioned in the lineage of Christ. I'm saying this to tell you that it was not in the record of Ruth as she was following Naomi. She didn't say, I'm following you to get a husband, but she got a husband. She didn't say, I'm following you for God to restore me in the place of marriage, for me to be a wife again, because I desire to become a mother, but she became a mother. One decision to seek the presence of God, one decision to be in the place where God is, changed the life of Ruth. You would think that this book is supposed to be called Naomi, but absolutely not. It is named after a woman that came from Moab. And that's the last time we hear about Orpah. But this decision to follow Naomi is the beginning of the story of Ruth. Seek the presence of God like it's the only thing that you want, like it's the only thing that you can have. Attached to the presence of God are so many things, so many components, so many ingredients, so many things that you need for this world and in this earth that the Lord is going to pour in your direction. There's so much. And that is why Moses in Exodus 33, he says, we cannot go without you. Don't tell us to move here. How will we be separated from the rest of the people upon the face of the earth without the presence of God? That is what makes the difference. The presence of the living God. You find God, you find everything else. You find God, and behind God, as God is coming, and as you're seeing Him, as you're seeking and finding His presence, as the presence of God is pouring upon you, everything that you need about this life comes with the presence of the living God. And so what we need is God. What we desire, what we should desire is the living God. What we should pant for